Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. Sign up for a 1-week free trial, no credit card required, for access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Checking in on Twitter, GoPro X CHK daily weekly time frame. So Twitter with a bearish drop today. There was a clear bear break that occurred. But before I go into that, I want to point out, I had a discussion with someone on stock twits and just want to point out my psychology and thinking, because we had a disagreement in terms of the previous candlestick and in terms of the follow through price action. He was correct where he was referring to this as a bearish doji. I refer that as a bullish doji because to me psychologically we have multiple days of consolidation. This is a doji which shows an even battle between the bulls and the bears, and after brief consolidation, a doji, in my opinion, shows a higher low being formed, and we need to see a green day for confirmation, but that is a bullish candlestick. That's a good candlestick that I want to see there. And just checking back in on the X daily chart, that's what we were looking at right here, and it's happened twice. 2 days of consolidation, almost a doji there. You could call it a spinning top, but follow through to the upside. 2 days of consolidation, a doji showing bulls buying the dip, and then follow through to the upside. So obviously we didn't get the follow through to the upside on this one. Perhaps earnings and profit taking heading into earnings after the big bull move here is a factor. But either way, he was correct in the sense that it was a bearish indication. But that doesn't change. This one follow through failure doesn't change for me the fact that I view a doji bullish after brief consolidation in a bullish uptrend. And that's almost a bull flag pattern there, which obviously not as likely anymore with the follow through to the downside. But that's a bullish doji in my opinion. And that's that. So certainly open to countering opinions, because we all learn when we don't get egotistical and say our way is the right way. So we had a clear bear break. As soon as we broke 1969, it's easy to go bearish here on Twitter, because the next support you're looking at is 1941, and that's 28 cents to the downside. So that's the great thing about trading stocks. When I make these videos and I say something that I'm anticipating and it doesn't play out that way, sometimes people like to get spiteful and say, "Oh, you were wrong," and yeah, I know I was wrong. I said it. But you can still make money. Like, this was a nice short, and it pointed out if 1969 breaks, that's a bear play on Twitter. So while I thought that the bulls would show up today and see some follow-through, once we can clearly recognize that, the clear bear signal was a break of 1969, and then we saw a drop to the downside of 40-some cents. So you can be wrong and still make money when trading if you are able to be agile and pivot. It's people that just hold their positions and are stubborn that really get caught up in losses like this. So a new support of 1927 has formed. The bulls did buy the dip to a degree off of that. We do have earnings approaching. If it's a bearish reaction to earnings, we're going to be looking down into the upper $17 range where we have this support built. And if it's a bullish reaction to earnings on the weekly time frame, we're going to be looking up into the $22, $23 range up here where this resistance was before we saw the big drop. So earnings will be very key, obviously, in the short-term direction, and we'll certainly be on top of which direction that occurs. GoPro, 50-day moving average resistance rejection. It's like clockwork. But the bulls have a decent amount of momentum here, 3 days to the upside. So we're going to test this level again. There is still a possibility that we end with a bullish end of this week with 2 trading days left to go. If the bulls close above the 50-day and close above the weekly middle Bollinger Band of 833, that will prove to me, okay, congratulations, bulls, you pulled it off. Now let's see what you can do. And we might switch our momentum and sentiment in that regard. Have to see how it plays out. We have earnings approaching for GoPro as well. I believe they're next week. We'll have to double check that. But definitely still bearish as long as those moving averages are resistance. X on the daily time frame, big bull reaction to earnings. Upper wick of profit taking from the upper Bollinger Band heading into earnings. Gap up. Definitely saw profit taking on the earnings where we saw a bull move to 27.44 and we pulled back over $1. So pretty much a 4% pullback from the highs. So both the bulls and the bears were making money today. But on the weekly time frame, a big bull move, and it was the lack of resistance here where once we got this 200-week moving average as support, it was easy to go bullish because of the lack of resistance. Now we're at the 50-week moving average resistance of 26.75, and we'll see if the bulls can close over that level sometime in the next 2 days. But just another leg to the upside, and if we break the low of 25.68. We know there's further consolidation coming, but as of right now, that is not a concern. CHK on the daily time frame, very, very tight. Low, high, higher low, lower high, higher low, sideways trading. So I'm watching a range right now of 465 support and 502 resistance. The 50-day moving average resistance is dropping down as well. We're looking for a clear break here, either sometime by the end of this week or very early next week. We have the natural gas inventory report, which is going to play a factor tomorrow. And on the weekly time frame, we can see how tight we are, grinding these exponential resistances on the verge of a bullish MACD cross and getting over these resistances if we can see a bull break of the lower high pattern here on the daily time frame. We're pretty close to a trend change, but we have to wait for a break of the lower highs. This is a very tight pattern. It's going to give a nice trade signal that is going to give us the midterm direction here in terms of looking a couple of weeks out. So keeping a close eye on CHK. And again, I need to double check earnings on CHK. I've got so many tickers and so many earnings to keep track of that I'll do that before the next video. Hopefully they're not tomorrow, but I assume they're not. So that's what we got for these names heading into tomorrow, and we'll check back in. See you then.